Sometimes, the loudest voice in the room isn't the one shouting. It's the one that doesn't need to speak at all. In a world that rewards constant noise, those who move in silence are often misunderstood until their actions echo louder than any words could. This is the story of a young man who learned the painful cost of being underestimated, mocked, and ridiculed. But he didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He disappeared quietly and returned in a way no one could ignore. It all began in the narrow alleys of a small town, where the weight of dreams often exceeded the opportunities available. Ariv, a 19-year-old with quiet eyes and callous hands, was not someone people noticed easily. He was the kind of boy who always sat at the back of the room, observed more than he spoke, and answered insults with a half-smile that confused his critics. In his final year of college, Ariv was surrounded by the loudest voices, the kind that didn't think twice before belittling others. One of them was Rajiv, charismatic, arrogant, and always surrounded by his laughing group of followers. He made it a habit to humiliate Ariv in front of others. "You'll probably end up fixing my car one day, Ariv." Rajiv sneered once in the hallway, loud enough for everyone to hear. Laughter followed. It always did. And Ariv, he didn't say a word. He just picked up his books and walked away. Everyone thought he was weak, a coward, a nobody. What they didn't know was that silence doesn't always mean surrender. Ariv had a secret. Every night, after finishing his part-time job delivering food, he would lock himself in his room and build something. Lines of code, drawings, mock-ups, simulations. His dream wasn't to chase validation. It was to create something so powerful that the world wouldn't be able to ignore him anymore. His vision? An app. Simple in idea, but powerful in execution. It was a platform for small-town workers to find remote jobs in cities without needing a fancy degree or powerful contacts. He called it Karigar, the craftsman. While others partied, flaunted fake brands, and wasted hours on gossip, Ariv kept his mouth shut and his grind on. He didn't care for applause. He was building his thunder in silence. But life wasn't kind. His father, a worn-out factory worker, fell ill. Medical bills piled up. Ariv began skipping meals to save money, hiding it from his family. He was on the edge, emotionally, financially, spiritually. The world saw a boy losing weight, walking slower, with worn shoes and hollow cheeks. They didn't see the fire inside him. One day, during a college presentation competition, Rajiv, as always, had the crowd's attention. He pitched a recycled idea with flair and jokes, earning wild applause. When Ariv's turn came, people already looked bored. He stood up. No flashy slides. No jokes. Just a plain screen and a quiet voice. "I built something for people like my father, for those who never had a stage." He demonstrated Karigar, its features, back-end logic, live user interface, even a working job connection between a carpenter in a village and a furniture company in Delhi. There was silence, then murmurs, then thunderous claps, not from his classmates, but from the professors. And a guest judge, Mr. Varun Malhotra, a tech investor who had quietly attended the event. "I want to talk to you, Ariv," he said after the presentation. "This could change lives." Rajiv's smirk faded that day, and for the first time, he was the one watching from the shadows. That moment sparked a storm Ariv wasn't ready for, but had long prepared himself to face. The world that ignored him was now calling his name. Interviews, investment offers, invitations to conferences. But Ariv didn't shout his success from rooftops. He simply smiled and went back to work. Because when your silence builds empires, your action screams loud enough for the world to hear. The days following Ariv's presentation felt surreal. His inbox, once filled with spam and ignored notices, was now flooded with offers, mentorship programs, incubators, tech blogs asking for interviews, and even a congratulatory email from a government innovation body. His once-ignored phone buzzed constantly, ringing with the same people who used to laugh behind his back. But Ariv wasn't interested in fame. He had built Karigar not to impress his peers, but to serve the unnoticed. He respectfully declined media attention. He kept his routines unchanged. Mornings began with delivering food orders. Afternoons were filled with college lectures. And evenings? Those were sacred. dedicated to improving Karigar, responding to user feedback, and fixing bugs late into the night. He remained invisible in the ways that mattered to the world, but in the realm of impact, he had become impossible to ignore. Yet, change doesn't sit well with everyone. Rajiv, now bitter and envious, tried to rally his group with insults masked as jokes. Let's see how long this kid lasts. One app doesn't make you a CEO, he sneered in the canteen. But this time, his laughter didn't echo. His followers gave half-hearted chuckles and quickly looked away, because deep down they knew the tables had turned. A few weeks later, Arv got an invitation that would challenge everything he had ever known. A tech summit in Mumbai, sponsored by major investors. The summit was a breeding ground for future unicorn startups. Mr. Varun Malhotra personally invited Arv to present Karigar. For the first time, Arv would be leaving his small town. The train ticket alone cost half a month's savings. His father, though still recovering, sat him down. You've always done things your way, Beta. Don't let this big world change your silence. Let it make your silence louder. Arv smiled, hugged his father, and boarded the train with a small bag and a heart full of fire. The venue was overwhelming. Huge halls, digital billboards, and tech giants walking like they owned the future. Among polished suits and high-end presentations, Arv stood in simple clothes, holding a second-hand laptop with taped edges. His slot was scheduled between two high-profile speakers. People barely paid attention when his name flashed on the screen. But the moment he began talking, the silence grew. No theatrics, no buzzwords. Just real stories of masons, tailors, electricians who had used Karigar to land jobs and sustain their families. Live testimonials from rural workers appeared on the screen, speaking in their own languages, thanking a faceless boy who gave them hope. The room went from cold to inspired. Eyes watered. Investors leaned in. Some even stood up, clapping before the presentation ended. After his talk, Arv walked backstage, unsure of what to expect. He didn't chase anyone, but they came to him. Let's talk partnerships. We'd like to fund you. This is what real innovation looks like. Arv listened, politely, calmly, choosing his words with care. When asked why he didn't market Karigar aggressively or make noise on social media, Arv replied with a single sentence that later became a quote plastered on business magazines. If the foundation is strong, the building speaks for itself. When Arv returned to his town, the same alleyways he used to walk through unnoticed were now filled with whispers of respect. Strangers nodded in admiration. Shopkeepers refused to take his money. Kids asked for his autograph. Even his college principal, who once doubted his capabilities, publicly congratulated him. And Rajiv? He avoided eye contact. The arrogance that once defined him was now buried under layers of insecurity. One afternoon, he mustered the courage to approach Arv in the college library. Hey, listen, I was wondering if you had any internships. I'd like to work with you. Arv looked at him calmly. No sarcasm, no revenge, just clarity. I don't hire people who mock the very struggle they now want to benefit from. And just like that, Rajiv walked away, silent, ashamed, irrelevant. Success doesn't always roar. Sometimes it walks silently, changing everything it touches without needing to explain itself. Arv taught the world a simple truth. You don't have to announce your greatness. Let your actions make the noise. Because when your dreams are bigger than your fears and your work ethic outlives a mockery, the same world that ignored you has no choice but to applaud you. So be quiet. Keep building. Let your results do the talking.